This is Chapter 5, Lesson 2, Absolute Value. So the distance between a number and 0 on the number line is called its blank, blank. In those two blanks, you're going to write absolute value. So finding opposites. Positive numbers such as 2 are graphed to the right or above 0 on a number line. Negative numbers such as -2 are graphed to the left or below on a number line. Blank are numbers that are the same distance from 0 in opposite directions. In that blank, you're going to write opposites. So opposites are numbers that are the same distance from 0 in opposite directions. Since 0 is not negative or positive, 0 is its own opposite. The opposite of a number is the number itself. For example, the opposite of 3, so the opposite of 3 is -3, and the opposite of that is a negative, so it's regular 3. Okay? All right, so absolute value in words. The absolute value of a number is the distance between the number and 0 on the number line. So, for example, if I had -4, -4 is 4 units away from 0. If I have 4, 4 is also 4 units away from 0. So the absolute value of 4 is 4, and the absolute value of -4 is 4. All right, number 1, let's look at some examples. Number 1 says find the opposite of -5. So method 1, I can use a number line. I draw a number line and graph -5. So there's -5, right? So -5 is 5 units to the left of 0, right? And the integer 5 is 5 units to the right of 0. So 5 is the opposite of -5. You could also use symbols. The integer -5 uses the negative symbol. The opposite of a negative symbol is a positive symbol. So the opposite of -5 is +5, or just regular 5. You don't have to put the plus sign out in front. All right, example number 2 says find the opposite of 4. So I start at 4. The opposite of 4 is -4, and the opposite of -4 is 4. So the opposite of the opposite. So I go, this is the opposite. Of the opposite. So there's 2 of them. So back. So the opposite of 4 is 4. Example number 3 says evaluate the absolute value. That's what these bars are. These bars right here, that means absolute value. So evaluate the absolute value of -7. So here's my number line. This is where -7 is. 7, I want to figure out how many units away from 0 it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the absolute value of -7 is 7 because it's 7 units away from 0. Number 4, evaluate the absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of -6. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of -6 is 6. So 5 is 5 units from 0. Negative 6 is 6 units from 0. So 5 plus 6 equals 11. Number 5 says evaluate the absolute value of negative 7 minus the absolute value of 3. So I find the absolute value of negative 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is 7. And the absolute value of 3 is 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4. All right, so now that we've done the examples, let's look at the try-it problems. Go ahead, pause the video, try out the try-it problems, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've tried the try-it problems on your own, let's go over the answers together. So letter A says, what is the opposite of 3? So 3 is positive. The opposite of a positive is a negative. So my answer is negative 3. Letter B says, what is the opposite of negative 2? So this minus 2 is right there, okay? So the opposite, so I start with negative. The opposite of a negative is a positive, so that's the first one. But there's two opposites, right? So from positive, I go back to negative. So my answer is going to be negative 2. The opposite of the opposite. Okay. Letter C, I want to find the absolute value of 3. So if I have a number line, okay, so there's 3. I start at 3. And I want to figure out how far away from 0 I am. So 1, 2, 3. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. Letter D, absolute value of negative 9 plus the absolute value of 3. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9 because it's 9 units away from 0. This symbol stays the same. The absolute value of 3 is 3. So 9 plus 3 equals 12. Okay. Letter E says the absolute value of negative 8 minus the absolute value of negative 2. The absolute value of negative 8 is 8. The symbol stays the same. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. So 8 minus 2 equals 6. Letter F says a seagull is flying 25 feet above sea level. Nevaeh is diving 15 feet below sea level. What is the distance between Nevaeh and the seagull? Okay, so first the seagull is flying 25 feet above sea level. Okay, so the integer that I'm going to write for that is a positive 25 because it's above sea level. Okay, and Nevaeh is diving 15 feet below sea level. So 15 feet below. Okay, so that's a negative integer. So minus 15. So these are my two integers, 25 and negative 15. I want to figure out the distance between Nevaeh and the seagull. Well, distance is positive, so both of these have to be absolute values. Okay. So if I go from 25 feet down to where the water is, that's to 0. And then I go another 15 feet below that, because she's below the water line. So I'm going to add these two things together. So the absolute value of 25 is 25. My symbol stays the same. The absolute value of negative 15 is 15, and then I add these together. 25 plus 15 is 40 feet. Okay. And that is the end of lesson 2.